Frontside 180 no comply is a pretty cool trick to learn, I'd say, because there's so much you can do with it. You know, you've got the plain 180, you can land and you can pivot back, do a shifty, you can pivot the same way, do a 360, you can add a flip, you can add an extra spin. You know, there's just so much that you can do once you've got them, and once you do have them, they're really consistent. So you can do them in a line to spin around, you know, you can do all kinds of stuff. So the setup for this is about like this. The important things are that your front foot needs to be able to get off the board as quickly as possible. So for me, that means setting up about here, like just behind the bolts and pointed forward, and that way I can drop my heel off and pivot my heel and get off as quick as possible. And then with your back foot, you just want it to be flat and centered, because if you have your foot over like this, it'll flip like a heel flip. If you have it too far this way, it'll flip like a kick flip. You just want it to be stable, and if you have it too far back, the board will just pop and you won't be able to follow it very well. So like this is probably the best way to set up. Now, you start the trick like any other spinning trick. You just, you know, wind up your shoulders, start to unwind, and then this foot has to come off. And for this specific trick, you really want to get your foot pretty far away because the board spins in the same direction. So if you're doing something backside, you can really step off like right there. But with this one, you really want to take a big step, try to land on your heel and bring it around a little bit extra. And since your weight should be pretty centered or more towards the back, right when your foot comes off, the board will pop by itself pretty much. But you want to give it an extra little jab once it starts going, because this trick really has to pop. If you try to keep it low and flat, it'll just hit your leg. You know, it can't pivot. It's really got to go up like that. And it's going to feel different than anything else that you've done. It's not like a frontside shove it really, because you don't catch it. You know, it gets fairly high, but it stays vertical, so the tail's still kind of low. It's just quite a bit different. So you really have to just pop it so that it'll clear this leg, and you can just turn your body right at the end and land on top of it. But the important thing is, once you pop the board, you have to guide it around with your back foot. That's something I had a lot of trouble with right at the beginning. If you have your foot too far towards the end, the board will just pop and go flying, and although you might be able to jump on top of it and still stay with it, you won't really guide it. It won't feel the same. It won't be quite as good, you know, for your control, especially if you want to land in a pivot or if you're trying to do it on a bank or something. So if you had your foot about here, you can pop it and sort of pull the tail around. When doing it, it sort of feels like the board is at the same angle as your leg. So you pop off, and then the board sort of becomes part of your leg, and you bring it around, and then you jump on with this foot right at the end. So the main important thing about this trick is the pop. And it's possible to do it around your leg like that, but once you start going faster or trying to do different you know, flips and stuff, that'll get to be really, really hard. So it's just the best idea to step pretty far away, pop it almost vertical to, you know, get it to clear your legs, and land back on top. It is possible to land in a slight pivot, but because the trick goes so vertical, it's not likely to land like this, you know. If it goes vertical, it's almost definitely going to land straight anyway. So just practice a lot, because it's something new. It's a weird feel at first, but it's definitely worth your time. So check the ones I filmed, and good luck.